Okay, so here it comes the praise of the Tathagatha, chapter 6. So at that time, the world honored one emitted great light from his entire body, illuminating Buddha words as innumerous as the sand grains in thousands of hundreds of millions of Ganges rivers. So he gave forth a great voice, telling all the bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, as well as devas, nagas, ghosts, spirits, human, non-humans, and other in the various Buddha's words. So as we know, those are called like the eight kind of beings across the like celestial, or to say the heaven and the human, those eight types of beings. So listen as now I praise and extol Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, the Buddha says. For now, he manifests power of great, inconceivable, awesome spiritual penetration, kindness, and compassion in the words of 10 directions. So 10 directions is just top, down, and from west, north, east, and south. And basically there are 10 different directions around them because there are also northwest, east, west. So basically added up, it is 10 directions. So to rescue and care for all wrongdoers, suffering beings. After I enter parinirvana is the stage of completely enter into quietness. So also we call it enter into the nature of Dharma. So it's like when the gravity is being there, the Buddha is also being there because it is the nature. So this is what we call entered parinirvana. And all of you bodhisattvas, great beings, and all you devas, nagas, ghost spirits, and others should employ many skillful meanings to guard and protect this sutra, causing all living beings to attain bliss of nirvana. So the Buddha is praising, okay, this is the power of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. You should take refuge to the Bodhisattva, memorizing the name of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. And we now see the word honored one commanding Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. So there's a Bodhisattva standing up. He's such virtue of inconceivable, great, awesome spiritual penetration. O word honored one, for the sake of living beings of age of declining Dharma in the future, please speak of the cause and effect of how Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva benefit humans and devas. So the Bodhisattva is called universally vast Bodhisattva. So, okay. So how shall the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva benefit them? So the Buddha says, listen attentively. Listen attentively. Now pay attention. I will describe in brief for you the meritorious and virtuous matter of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, benefiting humans and devas. So in the future, if there are good men and good women who hear Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva's name, saying Nama Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva, and Nama Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva again and again and again, and join their palms, so basically putting them hands together, and singing these praises and making obeisance, just doing just being respectful to the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, and memorizing the great love and admiration of the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. These people will like transcend 30 kalpas of tournament of offenses. So 30 kalpas is a long period of time. It's like billions of years. If you are able to memorizing this name, saying Nama Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva. So if there are good men and good women who paint this Bodhisattva's image, or make this image with clay, stone, resin, liquid, gold, silver, copper, or iron, like any kind of metals or stones over there, and then reverently gaze and make obeisance to this image, and also pay homage to them. So these people will reborn 100 times in heaven of 33 devas. So 33 devas is where the Bodhisattva, the Buddha and the Bodhisattva is discussing the Dharma, is the heaven now. Like it is also called the Dryastem heaven. So it's where they live in now. So people should like make obeisance to the statues or to the image over there, so that you will be benefit from that, like being reborn over there, being as a god in the heaven. And if their heavenly merit is exhausted, and they are reborn below in the world of humans. So like when they exhausted all of their power of being over there, being gods, they will fall down and become humans. They will still be able to become kings. So that's the power of the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. If there are women who are weary of beings, like and like they make offering in veneration to Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, so they can like if they don't want to be a woman anymore, they will be able to do that. And if they want to do like become a woman in the future, they will become like reborn as a woman and really being pretty in the future, like for let's say what's the time over there? Okay, there's no time scale over here. I think it's mentioned in the future, in the later chapters. But also he says they will never fall into like three evil passes anymore. Okay. Oh yes, this mentioned here. It's through hundreds and thousands of myriads of kalpas. So this is the time scale. The time scale is extremely long if you make obeisance to the bodhisattva, that you will not become a woman anymore if you don't want to do that. So universally best, if there are women who are weary of being ugly and frequently ill, so with the salute mind before Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva's image, they will gaze, like make obedience to them. Through thousands of myriads of kalpas, they would be reborn with perfect looks and features, as I've mentioned before. So the time scale is also over there, thousands of myriads of kalpas. So if this ugly woman are not weary of being woman, and for the hundreds of thousands of myriads of millions of lives, they will always be princes, queens, or daughters of high ministers, prominent families, or great elders. So they can reborn everywhere they want. And those families are rich and they will be beautiful and also with perfect features again and again. This is because they make obeisance to Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva with a resolute mind, even with a single look. So universally vast, if there are good men and good women who are able to make offering to the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva to him by playing music, singing songs to praise, and present incense and flowers before the Bodhisattva's image, so they will be able to, like in the future, they will protect like day and night by hundreds of thousands of ghosts and spirits in this world. So ghosts and spirits, as I've mentioned before, there are 8 kinds of them who will even prevent evil masters from reaching their ears. So, or evil matters, sorry. So there will not be evil things like coming into their ears saying, I'm feeling so bad, I'm not doing well. So those kind of things will eventually going away if they pay homage to the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, being respectful to the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, transmit that compassionate to everyone around you. That's the power of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. So they will not be able to hurt the event evil matters because all those devas and nagas or the like ghost spirits over there will protect them. And that is true, universally best in the future. If there are evil people, evil spirits, and evil ghosts who see good men and good women venerating and taking refuge in this bodhisattva, making offering, singing these praises, and reverently gazing at and making obeisance to Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. And if those beings then like if they express ridicule or slander, or they laughing at those people, or they put a slander behind their backs, or they like urge others to slander just anything related to slander, or trying to ridicule other people. So whether one people or many, or they bear a mere thought of ridicule or slander, such being will fall into and remain in Avicii hell. Avicii hell is the hell that we mentioned before. It is continuous all the time, and it's suffering all the time. So in English, it will be incessant hell. So undergoing extremely severe torment. That's what's going on if they're going to slander other people. as the consequence for their ridicule and slandering. So this is similar to what we discussed before. Even after all thousands of Buddhas, all the thousands of Buddhas that present this kalpa have entered parinirvana, they will getting out of the hell and enter the hungry ghost. And after they jump out of the hungry ghost for 1,000 kalpas, they will become animals and being killed by humans all the times. And that's not desired. And also, if they getting out of the animal hell after thousands of kalpas, they will become humans eventually. But they will not be able to see, they will not be able to hear, they will not be able to even walk because they slandered people who trust or take refuge to the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. So even with this slight slandering for people who are like not being respectful to the Bodhisattva, they will have this kind of extreme repent effect. I would say extreme repent effect. People shall not slander the Bodhisattva. I think so. So for people who watch this video, so be careful when you try to propaganda the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. If you make propaganda somehow, just be careful. Don't let other people slander because the power of slander is quite extreme. If they are not taking refuge, just keep silent. This is quite useful. If people don't understand, just being silent for a while, and you just do what's in your mind, taking refuge to the Buddha, to the Dharma, to the or to the monks, what is right, just do them. And people will see the effect because that's what real compassionate shall do, what a real bodhisattva shall do. So just keep silent, don't let other people slander the Buddha. There will be extreme karma afterwards. So the Buddha continues saying, universally blessed, in the future, if there are men and women who are bedridden with long illness. So basically, bedridden, sorry, bedridden. Okay. So these people are just sleep on the bed all the time because they are extremely ill, unable to get well or die. So like they just suffering on the bed. So I think there are nowadays people who suffer from like heart disease or something like that, or cancers. Those are the repent effect because they are trying to killing other animals, especially for the animals' kids. They will suffer from sleep on the bed. So like they will dream of evil ghosts at night, and also their families or relatives will suffer of wandering in dangerous paths, all those kind of things. Okay, so continue, or ghosts pressing against their bodies. I think some people experience that. So there are ghosts pressing their body, they will not be able to move. This is also a repent effect. And as days, months, and years goes by, their illness will worsen and their time just wastes away. So they cry out when they sleep, they will not be able to get up from the bed. All these things are represented cases of karma. Sorry, are the cases of karma. And that is not what we want. As I've mentioned before, just don't kill other animals again. That is undesired. So with the degree of seriousness still underdetermined, making it difficult for the people to die or be recovered, the ordinary eye of human and woman, the man and the woman, so the ordinary eyes of us cannot discern such matters because, well, nowadays people just thinking of the hospitals all the time. They don't care what's karma because if, let's say, doctors in the hospital taking you thousands of billions of monies over there, they are being rich. They just switch your organs, switch your body parts, and they get money. They don't care about your karma. And sometimes in extreme cases, they will not recover you. They just said, okay, we cannot recover you again. They don't care if you are falling into hell or something like that because that's what they do as a doctor. They want to earn money nowadays, I would say. So If you will remember this, just be careful when you're trying to thinking of harming other people. Taking refuge to the Buddha and the Bodhisattva, yes, the Buddha is also talking about the same thing over here, thinking of this sutra, trying to be nice to other people, just in simple, and giving everything out, houses, jewels, clothing, such as Buddha's mentioning, if there are extreme cases over there. And also speak loudly of this Bodhisattva's name, like saying Namo Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, saying this name again and again and again in front of the sick person, and also saying like these are the things. Let's say I'm giving out my clothes, giving out my houses, giving out my jewelry, and giving out all the things that I loved before out to the Bodhisattva, giving out to the Buddhas, giving out to the Dharma, giving out to the monks. Then if the karma is not that serious, the life of these people will be elongated. However, if the karma is extreme, these people will still going to die. But this will help them enter the heaven in the future. So don't think about like anything else if they're going to be sick. Don't think about like getting surgery all the time. Please think about the future. Think about what like they can do in the future. They will get a lot of well-beings, a lot of compassionate, a lot of power. Let's say the spiritual penetration, the mind, a wisdom in the future because of this. Okay, the Buddha continues saying, and in his if their breathing ceases, then for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or even on to 7 days, such offerings should be stated clearly. And this sutra should be read out aloud, as I've mentioned before, should read out aloud. Let the listener hear these words. And in obvious reasons, please read in their native language, because if they don't understand, it's hard for them to get the wisdom within this sutra. So, but it's okay if you don't if it's there are no available translation, you can read in your own language. But try to read in the language that they understand. And after this person's life ends, he will gain release from misfortune in the severe tournament, sorry, that result from past offenses. Then the 5 great violations. Let's talk about those 5 great violations. Remind everybody, just getting the blood of the Buddha out, and also killing the Arahant, killing fathers and mothers, and slandering the Dharma, slandering the purple germ, as we've mentioned before, the Buddha, the Dharma, the monks, and also destroy a complete and united monks. If you are doing those 5 things, this is like basically meaning you will get into incessant hell, or to say that leads to incessant torment. But even if you do that, there are still ways to recover that things. So if this person is reborn and you've done the thing before, like just giving out all the possessions that this person loved, giving out all of them, whenever he is reborn, he know his previous lives, and he now will think about like what he did before, and now he is able to become a good man or good woman whenever they live, reborn. And they will copy the sutra in writing and teaching others to copy it because they know the sutra is powerful. Or to do sculpture if you are an artist or something like that you want to do. Now, even nowadays, you can do this photolithography if you want. So they will certainly gain immense benefit. Yes. And continuing, universally vast, in the future, if there are living beings, when dreaming or dozing, like if they see ghosts over the night, or they like seeing different people crying and worried and signing, fearful and terrified, when that's also any kind of like fearful things over there. These are the living things: fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, husband, wives, and other relatives from 1, 10, 100, or 1,000 lives past. So who are from the lower realms. So it's like your previous relevance, who wants you to help them out, this will make you feel fearful because these are the person that you loved and they are coming back because you've memorized them or thinking about them all the time beforehand, and they are thinking about you. When they are suffering, they were thinking about your name. They were coming back and find you, and you will find it fearful because you don't recognize them. So the Buddha saying, they have no place from which they hope or strengthen with merit to rescue them. So you should inform these family members from previous lives with skillful meanings, like any kind of things that you are able to help them getting out from lower realms. Like we've mentioned before, giving out all the possessions or making Ksitigharbha's Bodhisattva statues or the Buddha statues, things like that, to help them getting out of the lower realms. If you still remember the story that we talked about in chapter 1, that is one way to help all those beings out. And also, using your spiritual power. Spiritual power is the power that you can basically transit from different paths, like from human to celestial to the heaven, or you can go to the hell. This is because they have cultivated a strong meditation power. And also read out this sutra aloud for those people, significantly helping others and request others to read out aloud 3 or 7 times. Okay, this is important. Read out 3 or 7 times because this repeated power is letting them to memorize them. So when the sutra has been read out loud for such number, for 3 or 7 times, the relative in the lower realms will gain release. And this thing will never going back to them again. And you will never seeing them when you're dreaming. So if you see those unwanted dream, just do this. Trying to read out the sutra for them for 3 or 7 times. This will help them getting delivered. And also you will get out from those bad dreams. And also for who realize that they are undergoing the ripping effect of karma, they will also need to do the process of taking refuge to the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva before the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva's image for 7 days and recite this Bodhisattva's name for 10,000 times, saying Namo Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva for 10,000 times. And this is really useful because this will help your mind getting into a single-minded case, and you will realize what's going on in your mind with that kind of turning, like what we call as turning. You're turning a well of the Bodhisattva's name. We're getting you clean. We're getting you like getting into that silent mode without any fearful, without any like effect of karma, those habits, bad habits that you develop beforehand. And 7 days is also important because 7 days is basically a cycle that our body is trying to clean out our energy, let's say in modern words. If you are trying to do this in 7 days, all the bad energy will getting out. And although 10,000 times seems like a lot, but let's say if you like saying this word for 1 time, it's only taking you about 2 seconds. So it will not take you so long, even if you take half an hour every day to recite the name. This will be helpful if you are undergoing bad karma, like let's say if you are not being being powerful in your knowledge, if you are not able to get the position that you want. Think about Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, think about the compassionate, trying to helping other people. Eventually you will see the desired result. For thousands of myriads of lives, so continuing that, what's the result? He will always be born among the respected and wealthy family, and they will not undergo the suffering into the 3 lower realms. So they will not fall into the hell, the hungry ghost, or the animals. Universally vast, the Bodhisattva's name. In the future Jambadeva, if Kashiti, if okay, sorry, Kshatriyas, Brahmins, elders, households, and others of various names and clans have newborn infants, boys or girls, So there are new boys and girls just reborn in the so so Clash Drayas is the kings or queens nowadays. Just to turn that into modern language, and the Brahmins is like the religious religious leader in the ancient India worlds. It's similar to what we refer nowadays as monks, or those like or those bishops over there in other religions. So they are leaders of different philosophy, of different kind of religions. If they have reborn boys and girls, because they have a higher social status, so they should read and recite this inconceivable sutra, because if already attain certain level, they will be able to understand this well, and for 10,000 times. So they will need to reside in that number of names, and also within 7 days of the birth of the new children. If these reborn children, boys and girls, have already developed bad karma, they will gain release. And if they're already getting good karmas, well, that's even better. They will be able to have a longer lifespan. So yeah, I understand this is a little bit long, but trust me, there are many people who are suffering from this kind of karmas nowadays, like having children, or they don't have good, like, let's say, good works. They don't have good academic history or something like that. They will find their solution in this chapter, because this is the chapter of Buddha giving out the solutions for them. Let's continue. Universally blessed. In the future, on the 1st, 8th, 14th, 15th, 18th, 23rd, 24th, 28th, 29th, and 13th days of the lunar month. So yeah, the lunar month is kind of uh is a kind of calendar that is applying the circulating of the moon across the earth. It's basically 13 days in a normal, like in a normal year. So it's split up into 13 days, 30 days. And if you do the, let's say, the offenses of living beings will be compelled, and the degrees of the seriousness will be assessed during those 10 days, you will be able to get released from the bad effect of them. And that's what I do normally, because it's really good to try to think of the bad things that you did and then trying to correct them. And you will realize there are a lot of things that so the habit is carrying along with you all the time. I mean, you can also do this in two days, so twice a month, like the first day or the 15th day, because I know people are kind of busy nowadays. But it is really good if you can do that twice a month. So it can help you refreshing your mind. So how much more when they give themselves over to killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, forceful speech, of thousands of offenses over there, as I've mentioned before, those 10 evil karmas. If they are able to read out the sutra aloud once in front of the images of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, holy ones are like what we refer to the religious leaders nowadays. During those 10 days, what's the result? They will not see any disasters or calamities for 100 yojanas to the north, to the south, to the east, or to the west. So 100 yojana is in in kilometer, it will be like 3,000 kilometers. So that's basically covering a huge area on the earth. So, but I mean, nowadays a lot of people cannot do that. So we can hardly see that happens. And they will be also be apart from the lower realms. But I will encourage people to do this, because this not only help you and also help other people. If you see like there will be no disasters happen in that 3,000 kilometers range. And if they can recite the sutra once, or each of them can do the 10, can do this, like trying to assessing their things during those 10 observance days, they will be able to enjoy that kind of result. Okay, let's continue. So living beings of Jambadiva has great cause and condition with these great beings, as the Buddha mentioned. If these living beings hear this bodhisattva's name, seeing this bodhisattva's image, or hear about the words, like even 3 words, even 5 words, a verse or a sentence of this sutra, they will be they will be extremely benefit from this sutra, because this is the cause and condition of this bodhisattva. If you can say Namo Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva again and again and again, you will be benefit from that. So for hundreds and thousands of myriad of lives in the future, they will always be good looking and be reborn in respected and wealthy families. So now, if you have a question, why this sutra is called the original vows of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, here comes the answer. The Bodhisattva asks, "What honored one, I have long known that this great being has such power of inconceivable spiritual penetration, as well as the power of great vows. For living beings in the future, I want to make this request to Bodhisattva, to Tathagatha or the Buddha, so that they may know such benefit." So he asked, "How should this sutra be named? And how shall we propagate it?" The Buddha says, there are 3 names. The first name is what we've mentioned, or most people know normally, the original vows of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, or the origin practice of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. The practice is the way that they act. And the third name is the power of all the original vows of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva. So it's the vows and also the practices and also the power of the original vow. Those are the 3 key factors that this sutra is trying to propagate. Normally, people use the first name because it's easier to propagate. So because this bodhisattva has made such profound vows, so the main reason is the bodhisattva make profound vows. As we've mentioned in chapter 1 and chapter 2, if you want to take a look, you can take a look at those stories. They're impressive. All of you should propagate it, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva nowadays, in accordance to those vows. That's all for this chapter. Thank you. 哦，这个 chapter 非常的长，是不是听得很累？嗯，
OK，
听得累吗？
还好，还好。